Welcome to today's English storytelling lesson. In this video, you will join Ayaan, a brave and curious boy, on an exciting adventure through forests, rivers, and mountains. This story is designed to help you learn English naturally. You will hear simple, clear sentences, new words, and meaningful lessons while enjoying the adventure. Ayaan will face challenges, solve puzzles, discover hidden places, and make new friends. Listen carefully. Imagine the scenes in your mind and enjoy every moment. Now, let's begin Ayaan's adventure. Ayaan woke up early in the morning, just as the first rays of sunlight touched his window. The sky was painted in soft shades of orange and pink, and the air smelled fresh and clean. Today was no ordinary day. Today, he was going on a long adventure, one he had dreamed about for months. He quickly packed his backpack. Inside, he placed a bottle of water, some sandwiches, a small first aid kit, a notebook, and a pencil. He checked everything twice. He knew that preparation was important for any adventure. Before leaving, Ayaan's mother called him. "Be careful, Ayaan. Remember, always stay calm and think before acting," she said kindly. He smiled and promised her he would return before sunset. He waved goodbye and stepped out, feeling the cool morning breeze on his face. As he walked toward the forest at the edge of the village, Ayaan felt his heart beating faster. The trees were tall and majestic. Birds were singing, and the leaves rustled in the gentle wind. Every step he took made him feel alive. He noticed a rabbit hopping across his path and watched as it disappeared into the bushes. Soon, Ayaan reached a small stream. The water flowed over smooth stones, sparkling in the sunlight. He knelt down and drank some water, feeling refreshed. Then, he noticed something unusual near the edge of the stream, a small, carved stone with symbols on it. Curious, he picked it up and examined it. It looked old and mysterious. He placed it carefully in his bag, thinking it might be the start of something interesting. Deeper into the forest, the path became narrower and steeper. Ayaan moved carefully, stepping over roots and rocks. The forest was alive with sounds, birds, insects, and the occasional rustle of leaves. He felt a mix of excitement and caution. After walking for some time, Ayaan found a large, moss-covered rock. Behind it, he spotted a hidden trail. He decided to follow it. The trail led him to a small clearing with a beautiful waterfall. The water fell gracefully into a clear pool below. Sunlight reflected off the water, creating tiny rainbows. Ayaan sat by the edge, took out his notebook, and began sketching the waterfall and the surrounding trees. While drawing, he heard voices. Looking up, he saw two boys about his age emerging from the trees. They looked worried and tired. Ayaan approached them calmly and greeted them. The boys introduced themselves as Camel and Rashid. They explained that they had lost their way while exploring the forest. Ayaan offered to help them find the path back. The three of them started walking together. As they moved through the forest, they discovered a narrow hidden trail lined with strange flowers and vines. The trail led to a hill with a mysterious cave entrance. Ayaan felt a thrill of excitement. The cave looked safe, but dark. He remembered his father's advice. Courage is not the absence of fear. It is moving forward even when you are afraid. Taking a deep breath, he led the boys into the cave. Inside, they saw ancient drawings on the walls, images of forests, mountains, and people exploring long ago. The boys marveled at the history around them. Then, they discovered a small wooden chest hidden behind a rock. Inside, there were old maps, coins, and a compass. Ayaan's heart raced. He realized that the chest must have belonged to explorers from the past. They spent some time examining the maps and planning where to go next. Outside the cave, the sunlight felt warm on their faces. The boys laughed and shared their thoughts about the discoveries. Ayaan felt proud, knowing he had made two new friends and shared a wonderful adventure. The group continued along a trail that led to a hilltop overlooking the forest. From there, they could see the river winding through the trees and the distant mountains. Ayaan felt a sense of freedom and excitement. This is only the beginning, he thought. As the afternoon approached, they found a safe spot near the river to rest. Ayaan took out some sandwiches, and they shared their meal while watching the water flow. Camel told stories about adventures he had read in books, and Rashid drew sketches of the places they had visited. Ayaan realized that adventure was not just about exploring, it was about sharing experiences and learning together. After resting, they decided to follow the river downstream. Along the way, they discovered a wooden bridge that looked old but sturdy. Crossing it carefully, they entered a part of the forest neither had explored before. The trees were taller here, and the air was cooler. Birds with colorful feathers flew overhead. Ayaan felt as if he had stepped into a secret world. Suddenly, they heard a soft sound, like a small animal calling for help. They followed the sound and found a young deer trapped between some fallen branches. Ayaan and his friends worked together to free the deer. The deer looked at them gratefully before running back into the forest. Ayaan felt happy. He understood that kindness was also part of any adventure. The sun began to set, and they realized they had traveled far from the starting point. Ayaan suggested they find a safe place to camp for the night. They discovered a small clearing with soft grass and decided to stay there. Using sticks and leaves, they built a small temporary shelter. They made sure it was safe and comfortable. That night, as they sat by a small fire, Ayaan looked at the stars. The sky was clear, and he could see thousands of sparkling lights. He felt a sense of peace and excitement at the same time. Tomorrow, he thought, we will discover even more. Before sleeping, they discussed their plan for the next day. They would follow the map from the cave and explore the mountains beyond the river. Ayaan wrote in his notebook about everything that had happened: the waterfall, the cave, the chest, the deer, and the new friends. He knew these memories would stay with him forever. With that, they rested, ready for the next day's adventure. The next morning, Ayaan woke to the soft light of dawn. The birds were singing, and a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. He stretched and felt excited for the day ahead. Camel and Rashid were already awake, preparing for their journey. They had packed light, bringing only water, snacks, and a few tools for climbing and exploration. After a quick breakfast, they followed the map they had found in the cave. The trail led them toward the mountains in the distance. The path was steep and rocky, but Ayaan felt confident. He remembered the waterfall, the cave, and the deer, and felt ready to face any challenge. As they climbed, the forest changed. The trees became sparse, and the ground was covered with small stones. The air grew cooler, and the wind stronger. Ayaan noticed the patterns in the rocks and the shapes of distant clouds. The climb was tiring, but he encouraged his friends, and they encouraged him. Together, they moved steadily. After walking for a while, they reached a narrow ledge along the mountain. Ayaan stopped to catch his breath. The valley below was beautiful, with a river winding through green fields. Camel pointed toward a small waterfall far away, and Rashid drew a quick sketch of the view in his notebook. They paused to enjoy the scene, feeling proud of how far they had come. Suddenly, the trail split into two paths. Ayaan looked at the map and realized that the left path seemed longer but safer, while the right path was shorter but steeper. He suggested taking the safer path. His friends agreed, trusting his judgment. They carefully followed the winding trail, stepping over loose stones and helping each other across small gaps. Along the way, they discovered an old tree with strange markings. The markings looked like arrows pointing in different directions. Ayaan examined them closely and realized they matched symbols on the map. The tree must have been used by explorers before. This gave them hope and excitement. They were on the right track. Later, they reached a small valley hidden between two mountains. The valley was peaceful, filled with colorful flowers, small streams, and the soft hum of insects. They decided to rest here for a while. Ayaan took out his notebook and wrote about the new discovery. Camel and Rashid explored nearby, finding interesting stones and plants. While exploring, they found a wooden box partially buried near a tree. This time, it contained a small puzzle, a set of carved wooden pieces that could form a map when arranged correctly. The boys sat together and started solving it. It took patience and teamwork, but finally, they completed the puzzle. The new map showed a hidden part of the mountain where a small cave was located, possibly containing more secrets. Excited, they packed up and continued following the new map. The trail became rougher, with larger rocks and steeper slopes. Ayaan led the way, checking each step carefully. Rashid helped balance Camel across tricky spots. They laughed and encouraged each other whenever someone stumbled. Halfway up the mountain, they encountered a river blocking the path. The water was cold and the current strong. They needed to cross safely. Ayaan looked around and found a fallen tree forming a natural bridge. Carefully, he tested it with his weight, then guided his friends across one by one. Their hearts raced as they balanced carefully, but they all made it safely to the other side. After the river, the path climbed sharply toward the mountain peak. The air grew thinner, and their muscles ached. Ayaan encouraged them. "Every step we take is a step closer to the adventure. Keep going." His words motivated the group. Slowly but steadily, they continued their climb. As they reached a small plateau, they noticed a cave entrance partially hidden by vines. This must have been the location shown on the puzzle map. Excited and careful, they entered. Inside, the cave was dry and cool. The walls were covered with drawings of mountains, rivers, and explorers, like a story written on the stone. In the center of the cave, they found another wooden chest. This one contained old scrolls, more coins, and a small compass with intricate designs. Ayaan carefully picked up a scroll and unrolled it. It showed a map leading to another hidden valley with rare plants and a small waterfall. The boys realized that their adventure was only halfway complete. They spent some time in the cave, resting and documenting their discoveries. Ayaan wrote detailed notes in his notebook. Camel drew sketches of the cave walls, and Rashid organized the coins and scrolls. Together, they felt proud of their teamwork and discoveries. Before leaving the cave, Ayaan reminded his friends, exploration is not just about finding treasures. It's about learning, staying brave, and helping each other. Today we have done all of these. As they exited the cave, the sun was low in the sky. The mountains glowed in golden light, and the valley below looked serene. They decided to camp near the cave entrance for the night. Using rocks and branches, they made a small shelter. They shared their food and talked about the day's adventure. At night, Ayaan looked at the stars above the mountains. He felt a sense of wonder and excitement for the next day. He wrote in his notebook, "Today we climbed mountains, solved puzzles, crossed rivers, and found a hidden cave. Adventure is not easy, but it is worth every step." The boys slept under the sky, listening to the sounds of the forest and mountains. They dreamed of the next day, when they would continue their journey to the hidden valley and discover even more secrets of the forest. The next morning, Ayaan woke to the soft sunlight streaming into their small campsite. The air was cool, and the sound of birds and distant waterfalls filled the mountain valley. He stretched and felt excited. Today, they would follow the scroll map to reach the hidden valley that promised new discoveries. Camel and Rashid were already awake, preparing a small breakfast of bread and fruits. After eating, they packed their belongings and followed Ayaan along the path indicated by the scroll. The trail led through dense bushes and narrow rocky paths. Every step was careful, but their excitement kept them moving forward. After some time, they came across a series of stepping stones over a sparkling stream. The stones were uneven, and the water moved quickly beneath them. Ayaan examined the stones carefully. "We need to step slowly and keep our balance," he said. The boys followed his instructions, and one by one, they crossed safely. Beyond the stream, the trail opened into a lush, hidden valley. The valley was unlike anything they had ever seen. Vibrant flowers of every color carpeted the ground, and the air was filled with a sweet, refreshing fragrance. Small animals moved freely, and a crystal-clear river ran through the center, ending in a tiny waterfall. The boys stood silently, amazed by the beauty surrounding them. Ayaan carefully checked the scroll again. It mentioned a small cave at the far end of the valley, hidden behind the waterfall. The boys decided to follow the river to reach the cave. Along the way, they observed rare plants and insects. Rashid sketched some of them in his notebook, while Camel took careful notes. Ayaan felt a sense of wonder. Every step revealed a new secret of the valley. When they reached the waterfall, they discovered a narrow path behind it. The sound of water rushing was loud, but the boys moved carefully. Behind the waterfall, they found a hidden entrance to a small cave. Inside, the cave walls shimmered with mineral deposits, reflecting light from the small openings above. In the center of the cave, they discovered a final wooden chest. Unlike the others, this chest contained a journal, several old coins, and a small crystal. Ayaan opened the journal and read aloud. It told the story of an explorer who had come to the valley long ago. The explorer had written about the beauty of nature, the importance of friendship, and the joy of curiosity and courage. The boys realized that this final discovery was not about material treasure, but about wisdom and lessons from someone who had loved adventure. Ayaan smiled and said, "The greatest treasures are not coins or maps. They are the experiences we gain, the lessons we learn, and the friends we make." They spent some time in the cave, taking notes, sketching, and reflecting on everything they had discovered. They talked about the importance of courage, patience, and teamwork. Each boy felt proud of himself and grateful for the others. After leaving the cave, they explored more of the hidden valley. They found small animals, like rabbits and colorful birds. They followed the river upstream, discovering small waterfalls, unusual plants, and interesting rocks. Every corner of the valley offered a new lesson or observation. As the sun began to set, Ayaan reminded the boys that it was time to return home. They carefully retraced their steps along the mountain trails, crossed the stream, and climbed back over the rocks. The journey back was tiring, but they felt stronger, braver, and happier than ever. When they finally reached the forest edge near their village,